Mr. Silas Blackwood was known throughout the town as the doll collector. His shop, Blackwood's Dolls, was filled with porcelain faces, glass eyes, and frilly dresses. Silas loved his dolls. He dusted them, dressed them, and arranged them meticulously. But he always thought of them as just objects, beautiful, antique objects, but objects nonetheless. One stormy evening, Silas stayed late, polishing a particularly rare French doll named Antoinette. The wind howled outside, rattling the windows. Suddenly, a crash echoed from the back room. Silas, startled, grabbed his lantern and cautiously made his way through the rows of dolls. He found a shelf overturned, dolls scattered on the floor. Must have been the wind, he muttered, beginning to pick them up. As he reached for a small, Victorian doll named Clara, he heard a faint giggle. Silas froze. He looked around, but he was alone. Just my imagination, he told himself. But as he placed Clara back on the shelf, he heard it again, a soft, unmistakable giggle. "Who's there?" he asked, his voice trembling slightly. The dolls remained silent, their painted eyes staring blankly ahead. Silas shook his head, attributing it to the late hour and the eerie storm. He righted the shelf, blew out the lantern, and headed towards the door. As he reached for the handle, a chorus of whispers filled the room. "He's leaving," one whispered. "Tell him," another chimed in. Silas spun around, his heart pounding. The dolls were moving. Not much, just subtle shifts, a tilt of the head, a flutter of a lace cuff. "We need your help," Antoinette said, her voice surprisingly clear. Silas stared in disbelief. You're alive." "Not alive, exactly," Clara piped up, more like, aware. "We're trapped, Silas, trapped in this shop. We need to get out." The dolls explained that they were imbued with the memories and spirits of their previous owners. They longed to see the world, to feel the sun on their porcelain skin. Silas, a man of logic and reason, struggled to comprehend what was happening, but the desperation in the dolls' voices was undeniable. He spent the next few weeks secretly taking the dolls out. One by one, Antoinette saw the Eiffel Tower in a picture book at the library. Clara watched children play in the park, and a gruff-looking sailor doll named Captain traveled to the docks and listened to the sea. Silas found himself changing. He began to see the dolls, not as objects, but as companions, each with their own stories and desires. He even started telling stories to them one day. He decided he couldn't keep them locked up any longer. He closed Blackwood's Dolls, packed up his belongings, and with a caravan of dolls, set off on a grand adventure. Silas and his dolls traveled the world, experiencing new sights and sounds. Silas, the doll collector, became Silas, the doll companion, and he and his dolls lived happily ever after.